Okay, welcome back to Boruto Anime Review Episode 194. This is reviewing the 194th episode of the anime, the Uzumaki Household. Yes, this one's up from chapter 27. And mostly for this one, it's a lot of additions with some minor changes here and there. Like, for instance, the episode starts up a bit differently how it is in the manga. In the manga, you start with Hinata and Himawari. Actually, no, they do start with this one. I almost forgot they do. Now, in the manga, Hinata is wearing a completely different attire than she does in the anime. In my opinion, the attires for the anime are actually better than the ones they show in the manga. At least in the anime, it looks like regular clothes. And I'm like, oh, let's wear this professional-looking dress, even though you're at home. Yes, Hinata basically wears, like, shorts. Like, basically what she wears is, like, khaki shorts with a purple hoodie sweater. And, of course, walks around, like, with flippers on. But that's how she normally dresses in this series, which that actually makes sense compared to how it does in the manga. And of course, Himawari gets a little bit more reaction time than the actual manga itself over what happened with the broken vase that happened last episode. Which, yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that. With the changes they make here. Where she actually is upset, but eventually Hinata does calm her down a bit. And then, of course, we actually have it where Boruto wakes up. He says, like, I need to go pee. That's what he says. And here's an addition that's not in the manga. We see Kawaniki getting out of bed, which that was not in the manga. That particular moment is complete anime original. Yep. And they get to the bathroom, argue who gets to go first. And then we hear, this bathroom's occupied. And it's freaking Naruto. Yep, so if you need to go badly, go outside. In the manga, he says, go to the fence. And they do, and then they start fighting like, wait, could you two at least wash your freaking hands? Yep, and then Naruto comes, and the thing is, in the manga, this lasts for several pages. Here, it's like really quick. And it's a bit shorter than it's presented in the manga. Manga, it's like 3 or 4 pages, this brief little, like, mini brawl before Naruto stops it. Yep. And also, yes, like in the manga, Kawanaki and Boruto do, in fact, go out to use their karmas. And they do cut the little bit of... They do kind of change the angle a bit when Naruto is sitting in the pot, at least on the toilet. Where in the actual manga, they actually show with his pants down. Where he's amicably in the bathroom. Here, they don't really show it at all. And it's a bit more like waist up, but he's definitely sitting down on the toilet. Which, that actually is perfectly fine. You don't really, you can tell just by the angle he's sitting down on the toilet, probably going number 2. Now, I'm not going to say basically what he says in the actual manga, but clearly he's going number 2. Which, yeah, don't need to show with the pants down to know the fact he's basically, where he's seeing the full thing. Yeah, that was completely unnecessary in the manga. And thank God the anime actually didn't bother to show it. And then right after that, then they have, like, what looks to be like breakfast. Now, there's a change here. You're probably thinking, there's a change? Now, the dialogue they say in this scene is still for the manga, but there is a change here. Where Himawari and Boruto are sitting. Yes, they actually changed their seating arrangement for the scene. Yes, for some reason, they have it where Boruto is sitting next to his father, and of course, Kawanaki, and Himawari is sitting next to her mother, Hinata. Which, okay, that's a bit strange. They rearranged that, but now this change, I don't mind it at all, but it seems as like, why would you want to change it for? It still accomplishes the same thing as the manga, where Naruto saying that he's basically putting too much salt on his eggs. Which in the manga you can tell just where he's sitting. Like, how would he know that? Basically, based on the sitting arrangement, Here, it's actually a lot more closer where he's like he can easily just look to his right and see he's putting too much on there. So maybe they did for that purpose, but otherwise, though, they pretty much. And of course, Boruto says, "Oh yeah, don't worry, it's not." Or actually, he says it a little later when they have the stir pot stuff. So you have Boruto going out for some training. This scene is completely original, where Boruto is going out for training, which this scene did not happen in the manga. Nope. And then we see Kawanagi just wander around the village. And of course, Naruto's watching him. And here's now, mostly put for the next few minutes, it's all complete anime original stuff. Where Kawanagi's walking around the village, followed by Naruto. Boruto and Team 7 training, which, yeah, that's completely original. And the scene where you have Naruto, Shikamaru, and Sai talking about Kawanagi and some events involving karma, and mentioning about Hindley having the most advanced scientific knowledge, more anime original content. It's roughly about 5 minutes of original content that doesn't exist in the manga, but it... Now, here's the thing. There's nothing that states this scene does not happen in the manga, because it just basically something happens like during the daytime. Yeah, there's nothing that says it can't be happening. And then, of course, oh yeah, by the way, Boruto's distracted by the fact that Kawanagi lives there, and basically throws up his aim. And then when they go home, Kawanagi's the first one who arrives home first, and then Hinata's like, "Welcome home." And he's like, and of course before he leaves, he's like, "What would you like for dinner?" It's like, no one's asked me that before. Yeah, I thought that little bit, basically, that was also Amy Originals before he left for his little stroll. And then here they have like, and of course then Boruto comes home, and then they have the dinner scene, which same CD arrangements before. And Naruto does mention, because they're all eating from the same pot, he does mention the Kawanagi, it's not poison. And then here's a funny bit, like, of course, he mentions that, well, Boruto and Kawanagi only eat meat. And then Himawari points out, though, "Dad, you're eating meat too." Just meat too. It's like, well, I didn't know it was eating just meat. I thought that was quite hilarious. The fact that it's Himawari, his adorable little daughter, is in fact pointing this out to him, which that I thought would be so hilarious. Yep. And then of course we have this wonderful scene that happens like very next day. And of course Barthol's gonna go out for the day. I think it's like very next day, and Kawanagi asks him the question where to get the karma from. This scene is actually an extension. Yes, there's actually a little more dialogue here than the actual manga itself, which Good job, Studio Pira. This is actually really good. This is something we definitely need for the manga, too. Well, Boruto bows to actually answer his question. They say he got it from fighting Momoshiki. But he fought him and he woke up with his thing in his hand. And then we have what happened with... the whole thing with Kawanagi, how he got his karma. This whole scene itself is pretty much there in the manga, except here's one small change they made here. They add Armando to the scene, because in the manga, Armando is not seen in this particular chapter. No, you probably hear him, but you don't see him. It's mostly just jogging with going to his own karma mode and implanting these particular jars. And the person he goes to is a person who's actually Code. Yeah, it goes to his one. They don't show what happened to him. I think he's a failure, but don't worry, he actually survives. And they do the Kawanagi, and that's how he basically became what he is. He asked Boruto to cooperate. He's like, okay, that's fine, but I still don't forgive you yet for what happened with the base. And then we see Kawanagi outside, and like basically he looks at the broken vase that Hinata put outside, possibly the trash, which this actually is a slight change from the manga, where I think in the manga this put like in the trash can. In the anime, they put somebody just behind the house. Yep. So, and of course, there's a final new one. It's like Naruto's wondering if he's gonna steal it. It's like finding somebody to talk about back there's money, and then Naruto was like, "Let me show you around the village." He's like, "Okay," and that's how the episode ends. I got handed this episode really good. I love all the animation content they made here because it makes perfect sense. The anime probably has a little more stretched time, basically, to expand what happened in roughly 40 pages into a 23-minute episode. Oh yeah, and by the way, next week it looks like though the Kashikoji is coming to the Hidden Leaf Village. Yeah, you actually see him actually coming to the village for the next episode. Looking forward to that. But here's the question though, because the thing is, the most recent chapter released from the manga was chapter number 56. So here's the question though. What exactly is going to be like the stopping point for these adaptations? Who knows? It's a really question. I mean, this is already chapter 27 out of 56 chapters. I mean, there's roughly 29 chapters left, but who knows how far they're going to go with this. Because I have heard something they're possibly going to do anime original content soon. Well, anime original episodes. Yeah, but what they added here was fine. It was perfectly reasonable. I would not be surprised about that, given the fact how much anime original content there actually is in this anime. Like, I would probably say about a good, I'd say 50% of his anime is a lot of it's like anime original content, which a lot of it makes sense. Despite the fact someone basically takes bits pieces from other chapters to adapt earlier than they should have, but it's fine. Yep. So yeah, that's it for particular review, and that's pretty much it for videos today, because I don't have anywhere videos planned for today. Not at all. Unless I do, it'll be something, okay? But do this next video. Bye.